So one of the biggest jobs you can get in voiceover is that of the voice of a mascot. And I had the opportunity to read to replace the voice of Tony the Tiger. Now, Tony the Tiger's voice was crafted by this great voiceover guy by the name of Thurl Ravenscroft. Not only a great voice, but what a fantastic name. And he also did the voice for Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and he did the voice for the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. An amazing voice, but unfortunately he passes away and they need a new Tony the Tiger. They brought in a couple of guys to read, and I got to be one of them. And back in those days, you'd go into a studio, you'd read, and I was reading with this person that I'd worked with many, many times before. They give you direction. You're in the booth and they record your voice, and then they send it off to the advertiser. Well, I was working with this guy, funnily by the name of Tony, and Tony and I were working on this copy, and I'm playing Tony the Tiger. And so I get to the famous part where Tony says they're great, and I give him my read. And he stops and he looks, and then he goes, try it again. And I do it again, and he's just shaking his head. And I go, what? And he goes, well, try it again. And this time maybe deeper and a little bit more serious. And so I try it again, a little bit deeper, a little bit more serious. And he comes back on the talkback and he goes, maybe you should listen to this. So he plays back my reads and I am just horrified because A, it doesn't sound anything like Thurl Ravenscroft. And you kind of had to sound like that, so you sound like Tony the Tiger. My voice is nowhere near deep enough. On top of the fact, the read is just, it's not sending off the right vibe. Now here's my best approximation of my read from that time, and you listen and you tell me. They're great! Now, on a good day, it sounds like maybe Steve Martin in The Jerk.
That's right!
On a bad day, it's making Tony the Tiger sound like a gay tiger. And he's not a gay tiger as far as we know. And I said, I get that's not the voice that I'm looking for. He goes, it's not the voice we're looking for either. So yeah, I didn't get that job. But yeah, my Tony the Tiger didn't sound quite right.
They're great.
They're good.
Now that's a real Tony.
And that's a real phony.